Hey, Black people, how you doing? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. I'm here with my lovely, wonderful, awesome, melanated wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing, babe?
I'm doing all right. Well, what a great introduction. Look at that. I'm so flattered.
Yeah, well, you are the prettiest thing smoking.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
well, I'm beholding
you
you.
beholding,
I'm gonna be
beholding on
holding you.
me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What's going on, everybody? I hope you all are doing well. I see Shayla Satisfaction is here, and also Woke Root. And Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia is where my wife and I get together as two semi nerdy Black people who love each other. We believe in Black love and Black people, and we talk little leg against our pillows and talk about topics that are of interest. So today's topic that I wanted to address is this video I saw. I saw a video. Are you listening? What's wrong?
hmm
Why are you looking away?
No, I'm just thinking, like, have we ever done this when we're not on our pillows?
We are on our pillows. Well, these are not our pillows. We're in
But
Atlanta.
you know what I mean. Like, that's all I was thinking. Continue about the video. I want to.
We have done a pillow talk with Don't Pillow. Remember we were in South Dakota.
It didn't seem quite right.
It didn't seem right to you.
No, it
Oh,
seemed a little. It seemed funny. Yeah, because we were at that restaurant.
and they had us waiting all day.
Yeah.
True that. Good point.
It didn't seem quite right, but continue. Okay, so there was a video. Where was the video?
Yeah, so there's this video, and I saw it on Fly Newbie and Queen TV, where it was like a TikTok, and there was a lady who was basically describing what it's like to date in your 40s. She was talking about your 40s, but a lot of people were saying it describes the 30s, the 50s, and everything in between.
Oh,
And so what she did was she was pretending like she was shaking hands with people, and then she would find out like, oh, I have a 2-year-old son, or and then she shake another guy's hand. He'd be like, oh, I'm single but not divorced from my wife, and then she turned away, and the other guy's like, yeah, I'm available, but I live 10,000 miles away. And then the
oh,
last guy was like, I'm available, but I don't have a job.
oh no.
So she goes down there, and a lot of people were really reacting to the video, and I thought it was a really interesting reaction. It was a funny video, but it just made me think about, we talk about dating now. Money Mayweather says it's hard finding a decent woman in Chicago, sadly.
Well, okay, my brother says the same thing.
Well, he lives in Chicago.
Well, he's been dating in Chicago for a long time, and he's just like, I can't find a woman. That's what he says.
Really?
And he's a single, eligible, handsome young man.
Mm.
Well,
He's a handsome
in
man.
his 50s.
He's in his 50s.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. He's a hip 50-year-old
True that.
something.
True that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a cool dude. He's a cool
Mm-hmm.
dude. I like him. Very
So how
smart.
do we get these people together? So men saying they can't find anybody and women saying they can't find anybody.
Yeah.
Who's
So,
wrong?
I don't know. What do y'all think? I mean, do you think that dating over the age of 40 is hard, especially for Black people? Give me a yes or no. What do you think? Yeah. So let me, as people answer, let me tell you about the video. So the video was basically like kind of saying, and then she did a part two where she had where she every time she was shaking the guy's hands, I wrote them down. I can't remember what all the things were. One
Okay.
of them was the guy said, I'm not looking for anything serious. That was a no for her. Another guy said he owes $80,000 in back child support.
Ooh.
That's a no. The other one said he has erectile dysfunction.
Mm.
Another one said I date men on the low. So she was basically like expressing this frustration that it seems that a lot of women seem to identify with, that dating past 40 is like really hard. What do you think? I mean,
No, I mean
what have you
that
heard from your friends?
I don't know what I've heard from my friends, but it just makes sense. So the things that you tolerate in your 20s, I don't think you tolerate it as much in your 40s. It's just like I
Mm,
don't have time for that. It's like it's
yeah.
like move on. It's because you've been there, been there, done that, stuck it through, and it didn't work. So
Okay.
I can totally see how people, especially women, would feel that way.
So do you think people's tolerance for what they will put up with in relationships, do you think their tolerance should get lower as they get older, or maybe should get higher because you're older, you got fewer options? So it seems like your tolerance would grow as opposed to shrink.
Well, I think that when you're younger, you are just a little more forgiving because you're a little bright eyed and a little naive. And I think the older you get, the more seasoned you become. And so you just kind of like, okay, no job. I know what that means. That's not something I really want to. I've been there and done that. I don't want to go through that again.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Interesting.
imagining people are thinking.
So if you know that you, like somebody was saying, I forgot who it was, but somebody put up a meme where they said something like, they would hear women say, "I'm not settling. I'm single because I'm not settling." And she said, "Actually, you are settling. You're settling for nothing." Right. She felt like that
What?
was the type of settling that if you settle, if you say I'm single because I'm not settling, well, you're settling for being single, and you're just okay. You're okay with that in terms of just like saying, okay, I'm settling for me and my vibrator and my kids, whatever, and that's going to be my life.
Wait, so
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 she
I
was
don't
saying
get
that
what that's
she was
saying.
saying that if you say I'm not settling, like I'm single because I refuse to settle,
Yeah.
right? That
What's wrong with not settling?
well, that's the thing. What she's saying is you actually have settled.
I don't
Are you
get that.
following it?
That doesn't make sense. Like, are you settling or are you not settling?
Right.
Because the thing
She's saying
is
that.
that if you just like take any and everybody, then you're just wasting your time.
Well, maybe it's not taking in everybody, but it's like if I'm not looking for, let's say I'm looking for jobs, right? And I say I want to make $100,000 a year, and I don't want to work more than 20 hours a week. For some people, that's very realistic. For some people, it's not. It depends. Depends on your
Okay.
qualifications. It depends on what your resume looks like, right? So if I say, if somebody says, "Well, you still unemployed, you still getting that unemployment check, like why don't you have a job?" And I say, "Well, because I refuse to settle." What she's saying, do you follow me? That she's saying that you have settled. You've settled for your unemployment check.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, you pay, even not choosing is choosing. Not
Mm-hmm.
selecting is still a selection.
But it depends on if you're okay with that. Like, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would be okay being alone if I don't have a bunch of chaos in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on what you're sacrificing. I'm not going to just be with somebody just to be with somebody.
Yeah. Well, I
I mean,
agree
that
with that.
doesn't make sense.
I
I'm
mean,
okay with just me and my skin, just
yeah.
me and who I
Mm-hmm.
am.
Well, I think that being alone, I mean, I've been alone in terms of not having a relationship. And, the only time I would go look for a relationship was when I wanted one. If I
Hmm.
didn't want one, I was very happy being alone. So I think that's the measuring stick. Like if you're happy in your situation, that's fine. If you're not happy, I think that means you might need to make an adjustment. Because one of the things that was interesting about the video, and some guys pointed this out, was that the lady in the video who was pointing out all the things that are wrong with the men she meets,
Hmm.
she didn't. He basically seemed to feel that one person I'm thinking about. He seemed to feel that women are not so quick to always know where they're coming up short. You know, and I know personally, when I went dating, I wasn't looking for a perfect person. I wasn't looking for somebody that had no issues and no problems, had made no mistakes. I kind of understand, like as a man, part of my job is to help you resolve your situation, help improve your situation. So maybe if you don't have as much money as you'd like to have, maybe that's where I can help. Or if you need help with the kids, like I think women with kids are fine. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily automatically better or worse, but I think the ability to raise children is a type of responsibility that actually makes a woman, on average, from what I've seen, be a better person than she was when she had no kids. But that was my preference. That was my experience.
Okay, so when you were dating, because you dated in your 40s, right?
Hmm.
So when you dated in your 40s, I mean, was it difficult to find somebody?
No,
Okay.
because
So it's not like
well,
that. So a man couldn't do a video like that.
yeah, I think for men, the challenge for men might be that, how can I say it? I think the challenge for men might be that, that there would be women you'd meet and you may not want to go all the way. You may not want to marry them or whatever. And then, because I ran into that where I would date, I remember one particular person I dated, and she was like, "Well, why won't you marry me?" And I was thinking, I didn't say it, but I was thinking, because you're fucked up. Like you're not a person I would want to be married to. You're a person I can hang out with, but because you don't hear me when I tell you what's wrong with you, and you get triggered and you get mad at me and you blame me, I'm not even going to say anything. But really, it was because I did not feel safe trusting my life into the hands of this person. And I
Hmm.
think that that's where, when so when you see somebody that's complaining like men don't want to get married. Men
So
don't.
you were settling? Is that what was happening, boys? You were sitting there dating people that you knew you weren't going to marry, just settling with them
No,
for
it
the
wasn't
time
settle
being.
shit. I
Is
was
that what
enjoying.
you're?
I was living my life.
Oh, so you were just being safe by keeping that person at a distance
No,
and not bringing them close to
I
you?
did what I liked doing. I enjoyed myself. I was not waking up every day thinking, "When can I find my wife?" Men, I don't believe most of my guy friends don't talk like that. We're not sitting around
They
like,
don't.
"Oh, I can't wait to find my wife so we can have a nice wedding." No, marriage was something I was willing to do after the age of 40. I wasn't trying to get married at 25, 30.
Not you, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
But
A lot of because a lot of
mhm.
people speculated why you and I waited to get married, and I was like, they don't even understand. Like, I don't even know if I would have gotten married at 25. I would, it would. I don't think I was
Mhm.
prepared for that.
Okay,
There's a lot of
so
work.
you aside, because we know that you're different and this doesn't apply to you, but I do think this is my theory. I do think that men really do want to be married. I really
Hmm.
do think that. I think they really do want to find somebody that they can be with and be totally comfortable with and vulnerable with. I really do believe that. I think that
Right.
they want to they want to be seen. They want to actually be seen for who and what they are, and they want someone to see that and accept that and love that. I really do believe that.
I don't doubt that. I'm not saying that men.
Not you
I'm
though.
not going to say men can't be happy with that. I'm just saying that when I was single, I was extremely content. I wasn't feeling like
Well, you were
if
safe.
no,
You
if
were
so,
safe.
no, I'm safe now, right?
Of course you're
Am I
safe.
unsafe now?
Of course you're
Well,
safe.
then there you go. See,
But
so I could have
but
been.
it's a risk to open yourself up. It makes you vulnerable and it puts you, it's a risky situation for men. So I'm thinking that maybe fear is really what holds a lot of men back, much more so than
Hmm.
just I don't love them hoes, I don't want to be with them. I That's my theory
I don't.
based
Well,
on what I'm
I don't
saying.
doubt that trauma and fear play a role in that attitude. Like that whole, pimping these hoes. I don't love them hoes. That kind of mindset. You're right. That does come from trauma, mommy issues. Whatever. I do agree with that.
Hmm.
But what I will say though is that I think it would be a falsehood to argue that most men are just dying to be in a committed relationship.
I think
Com-
they
because
are.
commitment requires a lot of work. It means that if you break the rule, which a lot of men break, millions of men break that rule of monogamy, then that you're going to lose everything. You're going to be
Okay.
humiliated. Hold on, what?
Uh-huh.
You're going to lose your wealth. You might lose your kids. I know guys who cheated and lost their kids, and they're like, why should I not be able to live in the house with my kids because I cheated?
Well,
But it's because people say, well, because you were a bad husband.
okay,
So
can I
a
say I
lot of
want
men,
to answer
well, I'm
that.
just saying, a lot of men
Mhm.
do play it safe, and they say, well, then if I'm just never your husband, then you can never put that expectation on me. Now go ahead.
Okay, so what it is that I don't think men get married for the sole purpose of cheating. I think they
Of
get
course not.
married, right? Exactly. So men get married because they really want to have that connection with their wife and they really want to, remember, I just said, see and be seen and be loved and accepted. And I think what happens is they get frustrated because there's problems that come up and they want that closeness and intimacy so bad that they're not able to get it with the person that they really want to get it from. So they have anger and resentment and sometimes they take it out in a way that's unhealthy and they do things because they're really upset, but what they really want is that love and acceptance from their wife.
Well, I think that they want love and acceptance, but it doesn't always have to come from a wife. I know guys,
And
but remember, I know guys who
mhm,
get it from a girlfriend. I know guys who get it from close female friends. I know guys. So I would say I'm
mhm,
not going to sit here and say that you're wrong. I'm
mhm.
not going to say a wife can't provide that. I'm just saying that the wife, it's like as a business owner, right? Or business owners can hire. I know business owners that hire contractors and they hire employees and then they even have temporary contractors versus permanent contractors. They don't make you an employee unless they really, really, really trust you and absolutely have to do that because being an employee is a higher standard. You got to pay more money. The taxes are higher.
It's a higher
The
level of
expectations are
commitment
high.
for
Right.
sure.
There's a
Mhm.
bunch of laws that control what you can and cannot do with that person. Whereas if they're just a contractor, you can fire them on any day and there's no
Mhm.
consequences and there's no lawsuits. There's no nothing. Right.
It's
So
safer. It's safer to have this sort of temporary arrangement. But when you put yourself out there, it's riskier when you have that sort of all in. I'm going all in with this one person, and it's very
yeah,
risky.
yeah.
And so I think just and there are a lot of women who step out They step
Mhm.
out of their relationship. There are women who do that too. And but they would love to have it with their husband,
Yeah.
but they're just upset. And I think both people, especially with the couples that I see, couples, they really, it's interesting when I talk to them, they love each other. They really want to be with each other.
Hmm.
But it's all these other things that get in the way of having that real closeness.
Yeah, Robotech Master says men get married because they want a family. I don't disagree. When I
Yeah.
got married, I knew Alicia had children, and I would be the head of a household, and I like that. I actually enjoy like having that kind of responsibility. I don't really care much about whether or not it's my biological kids or not. I didn't want to have newborn babies and change diapers and all that. That's why I didn't.
What? No newborn babies?
No, no, not at 50 years old.
Wait,
Miss China Doll has an interesting question.
you changing the subject. You wouldn't change diapers if you
I
had a
would. I mean,
baby?
if I had a baby and I had to, I would. But I didn't. I didn't want to start all over.
That is the sweet. That is a beautiful thing to do. That's a great way
I'm.
to bond with
I'm
another,
sure. Well, it's not. I
with a
remember I
little
changed.
tiny
I
thing.
remember I changed my baby brother's diapers
It's not the same when it's
thousands
your
of times.
brother.
I changed probably or at least hundreds. I changed his diapers many times. I knew enough about changing diapers to know that I don't like it. So anyway, so let me read this. Miss China Doll has a question. She says, Dr. Alicia, my ex keeps coming back. I'm 35-year-old with two boys, no kids by him. He's 35 years old with two kids. He was a cheater and we broke up because he didn't want to change. He still has not changed. Help. And then she says, she follows up. She says, oh, he won't leave me alone. He knows I don't want to share. Why won't he leave me alone? You give your answer, and I'm gonna give
You gonna give my
the
answer?
unscientific answer.
The
Yes.
unscientific. Good grief! So he wants something from her. He really he wants to be around her. He misses that. I suspect it'd be really interesting to understand like what motivates him um to not be trustworthy. That would be really interesting. To try to figure out what happened there. And you know I wonder what he really wants from her. What does he want from her, really?
He probably loves her. He just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to. He probably has
Okay.
feelings and attractions to other women, but that don't mean he don't love her. He just means he's a
Hmm.
person that. Because remember, men. There have been thousands of examples of men having multiple wives, and there's a whole
Hmm.
polyamorous movement. Will and Jada just said they were polyamorous. So I think
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
it's interesting that there are some people who are disconnecting what you do sexually with how you feel emotionally. What do you think?
Hmm. Well, the thing is that it's how considerate are you of another person? Like, you can love someone, but love is just not a feeling. It's an action. It's what you do day in and day out. And so if there is no agreement for polyamory or a poly life, there's no agreement to that. We've agreed that we're going to be exclusive. It's respecting that sort of agreement is what is respectful in the relationship, and not honoring that, which means that you have to do a whole lot of lying, a whole lot of deceiving, a whole lot of things that are not very trustworthy, and it just makes you anxious and puts you in a really terrible position. And so I think that that's really not a good demonstration of love.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
Because
is. I
it
mean, it's
takes
a.
so much deception. It takes
Yeah.
so much deception to get there that I think it just can ruin. And I wonder why this particular person who has this compulsion, you almost wonder what's going on. Why do you have the compulsion?
Well, I
This
mean, yeah,
compulsion
I know a
to
lot of
do
guys
these
who love
things.
their wives who cheat on them. But
Well, that's
but I do agree with you. I think that it's like to me, it's like dealing with a drug addict. A drug addict is gonna lie because he really wants to he really wants to believe he's never gonna smoke the crack again. But if he's
oh,
really
drug
wise,
addicts know they drug addicts
right,
though.
right, right. No, no, but seriously, drug addicts are liars. You said that. I heard you talking about that today in your class when you were talking about addiction and how drug addicts lie. And the thing about it is, I think that sex for some people is like a drug.
Oh, like a
So,
sex addiction? Now that could be
or
something.
or or just men who just like women. Period. It may be an addiction, it may not. But what I will say is,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I'm an advocate. I'm not really. It's a conflicted thing. I don't know if I'm an advocate. I talked to a young guy, a mentor, who's 28, and was one thing he said was that he is in a poly relationship because he said, I don't want to lie. He said she wants me to marry her and be monogamous. He said I just was like, I'm not doing that. Like that's not.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
good for him to
And so
be
he
honest
so
about
the
that.
thing is though, she's not happy being in the poly relationship. She wants him to marry and do the traditional thing. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
I feel guilty because she says I'm hurting her feelings, but I have to be honest. She tells me to be honest. And when I'm honest, she doesn't like it.
Yeah. So I think that I I think that's probably not a good situation for her.
Mm-hmm.
She probably should, because the thing is that she wants it just you want to be married. You want to be married to someone who really loves you and really has that sort of marriage, what marriage means. And it's not a marriage if you are going out with other people. If you desire other people, that's not a marriage. So the thing
So
is,
desiring other people is
well,
like a violation. Like even just like if you what if you can't control it? Like you know how gay people, they talk about gay people, they can't help but to be gay. So what if there are people that just can't help it? That they try to only focus on one person, but they're attracted to someone else.
yeah, I mean, you could totally be attracted to anybody. I see people. There's guys I see that are attractive,
Mm-hmm.
and there's women you see that are attractive. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
talk about it. Ooh, what a nice looking guy. What a nice looking lady. What a nice, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, what it is. It's what you do. It's the secrecy. It's the hiding. It's all of that. And what that does, it just gets in the way of the connection that you have with that person.
Well,
And that's the whole point of
well, what I
marriage.
what I told the young guy was, I said, that's part of the reason why I think in the modern era, I don't think men should get married before the age of 33, 34,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even 35, because when you're in your 20s as a man, you have really strong sexual energy that you can't always control. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you kind of can, but it's overwhelming, and you want to do the right thing, but you can't because you're just feeling all this energy. I think that when you're over 35 and 40 and all that, like in my experience, I had a much easier time having discipline
Well,
in
you're
my
just
40s.
older and you're more mature, and I think everybody should take some time and just feel it out. Date. It's important when you're young to just date and to try to figure out, I don't know who I am. I'm just gonna date around and see what I like. I'm not saying just be a hoe out there in the streets, but I'm saying, explore, get to know people, get to know yourself, put yourself, travel, do all these wonderful things. That's important for men, not only for men, what you're saying, but I say for women too. Women need to do that too.
Dr. Janet McMiller says, I agree men should be older when they marry. Self control is still important.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
remember watching Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad in the movie told Malcolm to marry a woman that's half his age plus 7.
Oh,
So
it's that.
so if you're 40, you marry a
Lord,
27-year-old. So you're the
that's
mature,
a tough
but
one.
you're the mature 40-year-old man who's got some money and maturity,
You're supposed to marry someone
and you
27.
sold your oats, and
Wait,
not
is it
and you
27?
get you get a young woman with that can have your kids, that will listen to you, that will take your advice. She doesn't look at herself as like you're always your intellectual superior or equal, right? It's not a battle, it's a hierarchy. I don't know, what do you think about that?
I don't even want to comment on that. First of all, it's going to make me comment on how I feel about religion, organized religion.
Mm,
And I respect religions. It's just, sometimes tough to fit into these rules. Your
mhm.
age and cut it in half plus 7. Get out of here with that. But not signing on to that
Well,
at all.
there when
Hmm.
I'm 50. There were people who said I should marry like a 32-year-old. If I had not married like you, like you're the most beautiful woman I ever met. But if I had like decided I want to have kids or whatever, I probably would have like done something like that, because
Marry someone who's 30.
it would have made sense. Not maybe not 30, maybe like 33, 34. Like I would want
Mm,
somebody who's like was like watching cartoons that I saw as a grown up. Like that would make me feel weird, And
that's funny.
but I did have a relationship with a woman that she. I don't think she fit that formula of half my age plus 7, but she was like maybe 16 years younger than me, 15 years,
Hmm.
and she was super mature for her age, but she was still like young to me, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
but old enough where it wasn't like creepy or weird, but it was. it was interesting. I wanted that experience, and I
Oh,
did.
good.
I
Okay.
didn't regret it. It was like, okay, so this is what it's like, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. Because sometimes, if you're an older man, you date a younger woman, and I met younger women. I just only dated one though. When you have a younger woman, it's like on one hand, it's like, oh, she's young and she's pretty and all this other stuff, but the downside is like you kind of like talking to people that are your age. Like if I talk about something from the 70s
That's interesting.
or from the 80s, or I talk about when Michael Jackson wore one glove and everybody was
She was like, I was
doing
in diapers when that happened.
right. She's like, I don't remember I don't know about any
You
of
don't
that.
know Motown 25? What? You didn't
Yeah,
see
so then
that famous
right. So then
moonwalk?
so then I was end up telling her stories about like the early
She's
80s.
looking at you like,
No, but listen, she would listen to the stories like, "Ooh, tell me more." But I started feeling like her dad telling her stories from when I was a kid. I was like, "Oh God, this is weird."
that is so funny.
Yeah. So there was nothing like, you know, unethical or illegal about it or anything like that. She's in her 30s now, but it was an experience. It kind of let me know, like, okay, if I get married, I don't think this is the kind of woman I'd want to marry.
Okay.
It really can make you appreciate women that are your age. Because I
Uh-huh.
think that we have a society that thinks that when women get beyond a certain age, they're not as valuable as they are when they're young.
Now I'm gonna tell you, man. I being single. I was single for some time in my
Hmm.
40s.
Hmm.
It was a lot of pickings out there. I ain't gonna lie. There
Really?
was some
Okay.
pickings. There
Okay.
was some really good,
I'm not
nice
surprised.
professional men that would meet. Of course, they probably had some baggage. I think that's what that video is saying. What that video is saying that dating in your 40s, you got people with baggage.
Yeah. I personally don't think baggage is always a bad thing. It's like, I mean, I
Yeah,
really,
I mean, they got a life. They had a life before they met you. You go have to just,
yeah,
accept that.
yeah, and I think anybody who thinks that, like, anybody who thinks men are the only ones who have baggage is crazy. Some women come
Women have baggage
with
too.
a long list of problems, and and you just kind of know, like, at least I learned, like, if I'm committed to Black women, I gotta be prepared to be patient and work through some of those challenges. You know,
Well, what about you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
what do you mean?
Have you heard that saying?
Yeah, but what do you mean? What? Oh, who's the old dog?
Well, I mean, once you get into a certain age, your brain is hardwired and you're just set in your ways, and ain't anybody can,
Well,
nothing can
see,
change
and
it.
and that is where,
I'm just curious about what you think about
yeah, and well, that's where
it.
that's what helped me a lot. That's what helped me learn a lot of patience. Was I learned that you're not a dog, and it's not my job to teach you tricks.
Okay.
My job is to do everything I can to be patient with you and to accept you for exactly who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm pretty damn good at that. I don't fuck with people. It's like I look at who you are and what you do,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's something that's affecting me and it's really bothering me, I might let you know or might ask you to change that just enough so it doesn't mess with me anymore. But but generally speaking, I've found that a lot of love, if you learn how to really engage in the act of unconditional love and acceptance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think people are more comfortable with you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I
and
also think
they
it's
form deeper. You can form deeper connections that
mm-hmm.
way.
I also think it's important to show respect for people too.
Hmm.
Especially when they get a certain age and they're coming and you're in a relationship with someone and they are opening up to you and they're talking to you, not to just kind of brush them off, you know,
Hmm.
really try to accept them instead of just ignoring them. So I think that where you say I don't try to interfere, I don't try to like get in there, I think it's still important to still get in there and know about them
I think it
and not
is.
just ignore things about them.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear that. I agree with that. NW10 says, I'm nearly 40 and worried all I'm going to be left with is damaged goods. I don't carry my past with me, but a lot of females do. Um, I'd hear that.
How can
And
you not carry your past with you? Your past is,
um,
look, I don't think, okay, this is what I think. I think that when you have a certain past about yourself, you have a certain issue or baggage. I think that if you're dating someone and you see someone with that baggage, you should look at them and just love them for that baggage and know that that's a sore spot and not go there with them. Instead of taking their past issues or whatever, abandonment or whatever's going on, instead of looking at that and saying, oh, they're damaged goods because they were abandoned in their past, you can say they're damaged goods, they were abandoned. You know what? I know that's a sore spot for them. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna reiterate that in their life. It's
Mm.
like taking whatever is in their past, seeing it, understanding it, and being gentle with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Not turning it into their damaged goods because they were abandoned. Well, good grief. All of us have something. Learn about the baggage and then understand it. Okay, that's their baggage. I need to be gentle when it comes to this topic because that's a sore spot for them.
Or sometimes you have to gently walk away.
You got to choose.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, it's
Mhm.
like I can deal with baggage, but I got to decide if you're worth me fighting through your baggage with you. Because sometimes damaged people can be dangerous people.
Well, it's
You know,
it's
especially
part of
especially
who
for
you
women dealing with
are.
these crazy, some of these crazy dangerous men.
No, no.
Like no,
Well,
don't get me wrong. You got crazy dangerous women out here too, but women show they're crazy in a different way. Most women are not. You don't hear about as many women like murdering men and stuff like that, but you hear about a lot of men that, you know, you have a lot of examples of women getting killed by some damaged boyfriend who, you
mhm,
know, who just
mhm.
lost it or whatever, or especially if he's dealing with drugs and alcohol. You got to watch all that. But that stuff, I see that. I got people in my family that dealt with that.
Well, of course, now you're getting into areas in terms of areas, criteria where you can be flexible with, and criteria where you're just like, no, that's a deal breaker for me. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do anything. So that's what you get into. There's some things that you can be flexible with. Issues of abandonment, that's not like a deal breaker. That shouldn't be a deal breaker.
No, no, I
You
think
know,
it.
you should just be soft with that person.
Yeah, I think it. Well, I think it also just depends on how much you like the person. You know, I think of it like a job. If I really want the job, I'll put up with more because the pay is higher. You know, but if you ain't paying me nothing, I'm gonna be like, why am I even here? Why am I in this Arby's uniform right now, getting cussed out? If I'm gonna get cussed out, I better be like the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, making 3.5 million a year. I'll get cussed out for that. I'm not gonna get cussed out to be an Arby's employee. You know, and that's what I think. Like when, you know, so I saw the brother NW10 make his comment about I'm nearly 40 and I'm worried about damaged goods and stuff like that. I think that there really is something to be said about not expecting the world to just always love you for exactly what you are. I think that self-improvement, a commitment to self-improvement so that you can be more attractive to the rest of the world. I personally found, this is my personal preference, I found that really worked for me. You know, I knew that I didn't know which woman I wanted to marry, but I knew that when she showed up, I want to make sure the real boy shows up.
Yeah, you know what? You've done a good job with that. I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
you've done so well. I'm really like, I'm always been impressed with you. Okay, boys, but I think that like you've done 110 if that's even possible to just do more than 100%.
Well, I appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
I know it's tough for you because you lived such a long time as a single man,
Well, you
pretty
know,
much.
I've always believed in effort. You know, I don't think. See, here's the problem I have. You know, when I see scenarios where I don't see enough accountability from men or women, like when I see men run around the internet bitching about how black women are this and black women are that. Okay, I hear all that. I've seen that stuff too. Or I hear women complaining about men. Men ain't this, men ain't that. But I'll be looking at them and be like, well, what are you, or how much are you looking externally versus internally? Like, are you spending,
Always pointing the finger at
no,
somebody else.
right, right. Are you spending all your time talking about how messed up the world is? Have you looked in? Because it'll be somebody who really ain't all that. Talking about how trifling men are, or some dude, some raggedy dude. You ain't done
Yeah.
nothing to try to improve yourself. You ain't no quality catch on no level, but you trying to say all black women are raggedy gold diggers.
I'm single because all black women are raggedy gold diggers.
Right,
Like,
right,
really?
right.
Come
You
on.
single. You single because your monkey ass ain't read a book since 1992.
Oh my
You know,
God.
you ain't trying to improve yourself. You got a big ass beer belly. You ain't making no money. You ain't even good in the bedroom, and you don't even know how to look good. I
Yeah.
mean, you have nothing. You bring nothing to the
What
table.
do you bring to the
Think about this. You
table?
got people out there where they bring nothing to the table. They bring some goddamn mayonnaise sandwiches. They bringing mayonnaise sandwiches to the picnic, and they mad because you won't treat them like they're delivering a gourmet meal.
Oh my God. So
And the
now,
thing about it is the people that deliver gourmet meals are people that work for that shit. Excuse my French, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm passionate about this. You know, the people I know, like I know women that can't that have been have more marriage proposals than they can count. Every man they meet falls in love with them, wants to be around them, wants to marry them, thinks they're the greatest. Now, some of it you get lucky, right? Sometimes you just win the looks lottery, right? You know, you're born with the pretty eyes or whatever. But a lot of times you'll also see that there are other things. Like she takes good care of her body. She knows how to smile at the man to make him feel good. She knows how to talk to men to make them feel comfortable and happy. She's been trained by older women on how to be appealing to a man.
wait, what do
And there
you mean? Hold on a second. You're kind of saying something that is just like, what do you mean be appealing to men? So you think that like women should just do certain things just so that they can attract a man, or what do you mean by that
if
exactly?
attracting a man is important to you, you should work at it. If it doesn't matter to you, then fine, do what you want to do. But
Uh
just know
huh.
that, just know, pay attention. Now, what I'm saying is, you can't put out no effort and expect to get the same results as the person who put out a lot of effort. So same thing is true. Like if I know guys who become ladies men who spend a lot of their time
Mm-hmm.
studying what women want to look at, what they want to smell, what they like, you know, how to make them
So they
happy.
change themselves so that they can be what they think women
I
desire
don't see it as
to be,
changing yourself. I see it as evolving. I see it as adding extra um tools in your Swiss Army knife of possibilities.
so that you can
No,
figure out what the opposite sex, because we're talking
right.
heterosexual stuff here. So you figure out what the opposite sex wants, and then you just become that. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's like work. If I work on my resume and there's a job I really want,
Uh huh.
and I'm gonna go to school longer. I'm gonna study harder to make better grades, and I'm gonna learn how to really do an excellent interview so I can get that
For the
job.
sole purpose of that job.
If I want the job. Now, if I don't want the job, then don't do nothing. I don't do anything.
So is the job like anybody, or is the job changing yourself
No,
for a
the job
particular
isn't anybody.
person?
The job is like, you know, the job is being prepared so that when you do meet the person you want,
Uh huh. You
you're the person they want.
okay?
If you just show up, like if I show
Okay.
up at a job interview and I say, well,
Mm-hmm.
they just need to take me for who I am, and I show up in some, you know, with a goddamn hair bonnet and some bunny slippers
Like we
and
saw today at the airport.
that's what I'm thinking
I
about,
was, and it
right?
was funny because as soon as we got off the airplane, I was like, "Welcome to Atlanta. Here we go.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got
Don't get it, but
bonnets."
a play is play. Well, you know what, Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. And it's cool. Like if you want to,
It was
like,
great. It was
remember,
like, here we go.
every human being has the right to do what they want to
Yeah,
do,
they do.
but people have the right to react to
No, let me
what you
tell you
did.
something. There's some bonnet loving men out there
There are,
that
right?
saw those bunny slippers and was like, "That's my future wife."
Absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry. I'm sorry, boys. I'm disagreeing with you because I really do think that each its own. For some men, they don't like no bunny
Oh yeah, just
slippers.
like there's some
But
people.
some men, and she gonna that lady we saw in the airport, she was confident. She was sure of herself. You couldn't tell her matching bunny slippers and
Mhm.
bonnet wasn't spot on
Right.
with the fashion she wants. She had more confidence than anybody in the entire airport. She gonna find her man.
I think that
She
if
is not
she is happy
manless.
with her choice, then
Yes.
she should be happy with her choice. I'm not talking about people who are happy with
Okay.
their choice. It's like again, like the job market.
But for some
But
people,
listen though, what I'm
uh-huh.
explaining to you is like if I go apply for a job on, you know, let's say I want to work on Wall Street.
Okay.
There's a way I got to present myself if I want a Wall Street firm to want to hire me. Now, if I don't give a shit, if I want to wear the bunny slippers and the bonnet, then
Mm-hmm.
that's my right. That's cool.
Yeah, but
But what I don't do is
mm-hmm.
I don't wear the bunny slippers and the bonnet and then get mad because they didn't treat me like I was wearing a three-piece suit.
Well,
That's
the
what I'm
thing,
saying.
here's the thing. If you want to walk on, if you want to walk, if you want to work on Wall Street, you gotta, you gotta learn about Wall Street. You know, I think she's learning about who this person is. Really interesting to find out who she is, but who she is, she was really living in her world. She was living. She's not even going to be interested in that because she was just living in her reality.
Right.
And it was beautiful to see.
Yes.
It was really beautiful to see because
Well, it was beautiful for her. It wasn't beautiful for me. Like I'm
okay,
not, you
well,
know,
she wasn't
I'm
meant
just
for
keeping it
you.
100. Right? Exactly. So it's totally cool. Like people have a right to do whatever they want.
I love
But
it.
it's like what people don't understand
Hmm.
is that you have the right to do whatever you want, but you can't expect the same results as
But I
people
don't
who
think she
put in the work.
expects that. I
No,
don't think
if you're
she.
talking
I don't
about
think this particular
like
person would
just
expect that.
just on average, like a
Hmm.
person who takes care of themselves physically and who's a nice person is usually going to have more dating options than the person who doesn't take care
No,
of
they're gonna
themselves.
have different dating
They're gonna they're gonna
options.
have different, but they're gonna have a smaller pool.
It depends.
Because
Okay,
on average, human beings like
a
other human
smaller pool.
yes, on average, human beings like other human beings who look good, who are attractive to them. Now, attraction can vary. For some people, being 480 pounds might be your secret sauce.
There
That
are a lot of
right,
men
absolutely.
who really
Listen,
love big
I'm not saying
women.
that there's men who eat roaches. I'm not trying to say that
Hmm.
there isn't somebody for everybody, right? We agree on that. There's somebody for everybody.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that when you hear a person who says all these men ain't shit, or a guy who says all these women ain't shit, like I've been rejected over and over and over again, and I've done nothing wrong. I personally think that there is a misalignment between what they're bringing to the table and what they're expecting the table to bring to them.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of I don't know about that. I think that because I've dug into people's lives and relationships of people's lives of various sizes, various ages, um various racial ethnic backgrounds. I've dug into it and I find that people find each other, but the issues and the things that they all bring to the table, the number of things they bring to the table can be equally the same. It's a different type of relationship in terms of like what they look like and their values and what they're into, but all in all relationships are kind of similar.
Well, I would definitely
That's what
say,
I'm
well, I
finding.
would definitely say that is true. I don't
Mhm.
disagree with that at all.
Everybody wants to
And
be loved, everybody wants to be accepted,
yes, they do.
and they really want, they really want to have that with each other, and they struggle with it with whoever they're with sometimes.
Right. So what I would say is
Hmm.
everybody has a type of person they're trying to attract. Would you agree with that? Like everybody has a type. Like I know I wanted to be with a black woman. I know I like black when I was single. I like the black woman that has something going on, like with her body, a nice body, right? Or whatever, right? So here's what I'm saying. If I had just said, I'm gonna let myself go, I'm gonna get to be 500 pounds, then I'm gonna go get locked up and do 10 years in prison, and then I'm gonna lose all my money. Um, I'm not saying that there wouldn't have been somebody for me. I would have found a woman still. There's women out there. There's somebody who would think all that's attractive, right?
Yes,
Listen,
and
listen, but listen.
okay, get to your point.
My point is,
Hmm.
but instead, I also said maybe I would have more options if I take care of myself. If I
Ah.
am financially solid, if I am intelligent, if I am a nice person, right? And what I'm saying to you is I don't know if we always see people understanding that
Hmm.
the more work you do to self improve, you typically are able to find the right person, but you have to have a commitment to the right kind of self improvement.
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that whatever you do in terms of your self improvement, you need to do it because you have gone inside and you have realized that this is who you really are. This is who
Hmm.
you really are. I don't think that you need to become something else in order to find somebody.
I'm not
I
saying be.
don't think,
I would say be fake.
okay, I was just saying, I don't think that you need to morph yourself into what you think somebody wants you to be in order to find options. I think that you can find options no matter what you look like, no matter who you are, no matter what type of space that you're into. I think there's always options for everybody.
Well, I definitely agree. I think
Hmm.
that when you talk about modifying who you are, there are
Hmm.
deep, heavy, gigantic modifications that are not comfortable, where you're becoming somebody that you're truly not. But then there's other little things like that I think all men can benefit from, like just being a nicer guy, listening to women a little bit more, right?
Well, you
Like
need that
basic.
no matter
I think
how you
no,
look.
no, no, but
Hmm.
no, but I'm saying that. But I know guys who don't listen to shit. I know guys who have a pimp and hose kind of mindset. Like they believe you just talk over her, you tell her shut up, whatever, right? And they attract women who like that. They attract women,
Exactly.
right, right.
That's my
So
point.
right, but what I'm
You
saying
just
is,
made
well,
my
what I'm
point.
saying is though that generally speaking, I didn't want the type of woman who wanted me to be mean to her. I wanted the type of woman who likes a nice man.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for me to attract that type of woman, I can't come in there with that pimp and hose mindset. I had to learn certain skills that would make
Mm-hmm.
me more appealing, so that I'm bringing something to the table. My point
Mm-hmm.
is,
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
agree with you.
my point is, I don't see a lot of people working hard to think about what they're bringing to the table. That's my point.
Okay, right. So I think we're talking about the same thing here. You're saying it starts with who I want to attract, and then I need to get into that space in order to attract that person. What I'm saying is that don't even think about another person. Just be who you are and you will attract all of the right people to you. So I think it starts, I'm saying it doesn't start with looking outside of yourself. I'm saying it starts with looking inside.
I can see that.
So I think
I don't
that's
disagree with
probably
that.
the nuance where we see differently.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Hmm.
I definitely wasn't
But I
when
don't think
when I
you
thought
should
about self
make yourself
improvement.
into anything.
Yeah, when I was thinking about self improvement, I wasn't thinking about it just in terms of women, or people, just people in general.
Hmm.
But that's always part of the equation, right? That like there's certain engagements with, like you talked about, everybody wants to be in the space where you're accepted and loved and all that stuff. And I think
You want to be with your people.
it's easier to be invited into spaces
Hmm.
if you've made yourself into a person that people want to invite. Like if I'd allowed myself to just be an abusive man who engaged in a lot of unhealthy behavior, um, I wouldn't be invited into a lot of spaces. Sure, there would be some
But
women.
that wasn't your space in the first
No, no.
place.
What I'm saying though, there were.
Man, you gotta be like, forget that space. I don't want that
Yeah,
space.
yeah. So what? Well, I think my general point is that I
Hmm.
don't think there's enough energy. Everybody's talking about everybody else, but anybody talking about themselves.
Okay,
You
now
know,
that I can get behind.
I don't. I'm like, what are you? You're telling me how terrible black men are, but what are you doing to make yourself into the kind of woman that men would want to be around? I mean, I'm sure there's some men out there that would want you, but clearly you're not happy. Clearly you're not getting what you want. Clearly you're not attracting the type of man you're looking for, or you wouldn't be complaining. So what are you doing that's showing a lack of awareness where you're not positioning yourself to be appealing? Because there are women out there that he would be attracted to.
Well, you know what I think?
Go ahead.
I think all the singles should come to Orlando at the end of October.
Oh yeah, I forgot I
That's
should
what I
mention that.
think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So by the way, so Alicia, this is Alicia's idea, and hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. The All Black National Convention. Alicia wants to do something we've never done before. She wants to do speed dating. So it's going to be at the end of October. She made the very intelligent point that you know strong black people, intelligent black people, good black people should be connected to other good black people, and I agree because relationships are everything when it comes to things like wealth building and stuff like that. And anyway, the All Black National Convention takes place in Orlando, October 29th through November 1st. And we are going to do speed dating. We're going to have a ball. We're going to have an award show. In addition
This is
to,
all new stuff,
yeah,
boys.
yeah. In addition to all the other stuff that we normally do, which is always great, which is panels on politics, relationships, getting off the corporate plantation, how to grow your own food, cryptocurrency, investing. What else? Gosh, there's so much stuff. We have like 40 experts. Queen Afua is coming. Queen Afua is like just an amazing health expert. She's like the female Dr. Sebi. So she's coming by, and I'm
We
super
gotta
excited
get her.
about that.
Is her detox coming in the mail?
I think it is, but we might have to get it at the convention. We may not be able to get it
We may not
between
get
them.
it before. Okay,
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
got a detox, boys.
yeah. But Queen of Fool will be there.
Hmm.
So, Nuri Muhammad and Riza Islam and just a lot of really great black people. So, let me see. Can I travel there because I refuse to get the jab? Yeah, it's gonna be in Orlando. That's why, honestly, we picked Orlando Arnold. Is because we didn't want to have any hiccups over changes in policy related to jabs and whatnot. So, Florida tends to be pretty open state, but we are an advocate for freedom of choice, which means that some people will be wearing masks. Some people may have gotten the jab. I don't care. It's not my job to judge that. So I agree with as well. Who wants to be with a dud? I agree, Sandra. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think it'd be kind of fun to do speed dating even in Chicago. Maybe we'll put something like that together.
yeah. Robotech says, face it, men like femininity and a woman like Vicky Dillard, who I know works on being feminine and pleasant, and she is hot.
She is. Ain't she hot? She's so cool.
Oh, Vicky Dillard is awesome. I love Vicky
Mm-hmm.
Dillard.
That's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Vicky Dillard is she's gonna be at the convention too. So
Yeah,
Dr.
it's important. I think now I don't want to say don't glow up. It's important to glow up as much as you want.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my choice is like I never liked like really loud, obnoxious women, and I'm not into ignorant, ghetto, masculine behavior that's never appealed to me. And I think overall it's kind of like it's you feel bad for some people when they're like, oh, the dating market's terrible. There's nobody to date, and you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I wouldn't date you either because you're not a good person. And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
I personally just believe that there are general things people can do to make themselves a person that others desire to have relationships with, not just romantic, but even in business. In business, I meet people like D1 or George Fraser, who are
Hmm.
very pleasant, very helpful, good people. And then I meet people who are just arrogant, narcissistic, snobs, and jerks. And
They shall remain nameless.
yeah, yeah, we
Let's
don't have to
not
name
even name
right. We don't
them.
have to name their names,
But
but
it's
these are
funny how when we interact with them.
yeah, and these are people that you just cut out. You don't want to
Yeah,
have a relation. So to me, business relationships is just like romantic relationships. Pleasant people get a lot of dates. If
that's
you
so
are
true.
pleasant and appealing, you have things other people want. People will ask you out. They'll want to be your friend. They want to hang out with you. But if you are sending out a vibe that is toxic and negative and conniving and dirty, then people are not gonna want to be around that. So it's true in business, which is also true in love. Weird Excursion says we are open in Florida. We get to choose whether we want the jet. Yeah, Florida's real. We went to Florida, right, the heart of the pandemic,
We
and
sure
and
did.
you would have never thought you would have thought that Florida was a completely different world from what was happening across the country. Nobody had a mask on. We were like, nobody's wearing masks down here. People were shaking hands and they
They
just
weren't shaking hands with me. I mean, I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not never ever gonna be afraid of anything, but I'm definitely gonna be cautious. So
well,
I stand on the side of cautiousness,
yeah, I think that's
but
okay.
I'm not gonna be like just ignore the fact that this this particular thing is very contagious,
Yeah.
highly contagious, more contagious than anything. So I'm not gonna ignore that fact, boys.
Well, yeah, I'm not judging anybody's reaction at all because I totally get it. I totally understand. Oh, by the way,
Mhm.
Victory Boyd is also singing at the convention, and
Yeah.
Victory was supposed to sing the national anthem at the NFL season opener. Millions of people, and they told her family they had to get the shot, and she just said no. She said, "I'll wear a mask, I'll social distance, I'll take a test, but I'm not getting that shot." And I support them. So she's going to be performing at the convention. We got a lot of great people coming this year. I'm super excited. It's gonna be lit.
I know.
So yeah. So anyway, the URL is allblacknationalconvention.com. So I hope you guys will come out. You will enjoy it. I promise you, it will change your life. And you have about 5 more days to get a discounted hotel room at the resort. So you may want to go ahead and book it now. All right, guys. So we're gonna get out of here. Do you have any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are if you are single and you are looking, I am real excited about getting singles together. I'm very excited. So that's something I want to do. Thank you for your support, boys.
You're welcome.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your support, and
Hmm.
thank you all for listening. It was real, and hope you guys have a good night. And we love you. And I'm gonna block this person off the page. All right, and I will talk to you all soon. And have a good night. And by the way, I should give you Alicia's Instagram. I should mention that so you can follow her if you want to go follow her on Instagram or go to her website. It's Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and here it is. I'll put it on the screen. There you go. All right. So have a good night. I am Legend and Dr. Janet and Weird Excursions and Arnold Miller or Arnold Hunter and Robotech Masters and Sandra Frazier. Love you guys. See you soon. Take care.